All right, today we're jumping into a really cool development in medical AI. It's something that tackles one of the biggest challenges in the entire field, trust. We're going to be talking about RadAgent, an AI that's designed to not just give you an answer, but to actually show its work.
So, let's set the stage here. For a long time, one of the biggest roadblocks for using AI in medicine has been this thing called the black box problem. And it all really boils down to this one simple question. Imagine you're a doctor. You get a diagnosis from an AI, but you have absolutely no idea how it got there. It's asking you to take a huge leap of faith, and when a patient's health is on the line, that's a massive problem.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, think about it. Radiologists spend their entire careers learning to interpret these incredibly complex scans, building a case piece by piece based on evidence. So an AI that just spits out a final answer without showing any of that reasoning, well, that's almost impossible to verify, to validate, or, to actually trust.
And this image, it just shows the old way perfectly. A CT scan goes in one side, a report magically comes out the other. But that whole middle section, the how and the why, is completely hidden from view. That is the classic black box.
But what if we could crack that box wide open? Well, that is precisely what this new system, RadAgent, is designed to do. And believe me, it's a huge shift in how we think about AI in medicine.
The best way to think about it is like this. Imagine an AI that doesn't just act like an oracle, but more like a detective. One that follows leads, uses specific tools to gather clues, and, crucially, documents every single step of its investigation for anyone to see.
And here is what that actually looks like. Instead of that mysterious black box, RadAgent produces what's called an agent trace. You can think of it like the detective's notebook, a totally transparent, step-by-step log of its entire thought process. A doctor can now follow the logic from the very beginning all the way to the final conclusion.
So how does this AI detective actually pull this off? Well, it doesn't just have one trick up its sleeve. It comes equipped with a whole toolkit of specialized gear and a really methodical process.
The way it works is actually pretty structured, almost like how a human expert would do it. It starts with a rough draft. Then it uses a clinical checklist to figure out what to do next. It picks the right tool for that specific job, gathers some new evidence, jots down its findings on a scratch pad, and then just keeps repeating that loop until the case is closed.
And this is the detective toolkit we're talking about. See, RadAgent isn't just one giant AI. It's more like a team manager. It has 10 specialized AI models it can call on, and as you can see, each one has a very specific skill. One is great at outlining organs, another is an expert at classifying diseases, and another can answer specific questions about what it's seeing in the scan. It just uses the right tool at the right time. Okay, so this all sounds fantastic in theory, right? But the billion-dollar question is, does this new, transparent way of doing things actually work any better? Let's get to the data and see how it held up.
I mean, this is the really critical question. Is all this extra effort, this showing your work, is it just for show? Or does it actually produce a more accurate, more reliable diagnosis in the end?
Well, the answer seems to be a huge yes. When put head-to-head with the older black box models, RadAgent showed a 36.4% relative improvement in a key clinical accuracy score. Now, that is not a small jump. That is a massive leap forward.
And this chart really tells the story. In every single test, you can see RadAgent, that's the green bars, just crushing the older model. And this is true across different ways of measuring accuracy, which tells us this is a really solid finding.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Because RadAgent shows its work, we can measure things we never could before, things that go beyond just accuracy. The researchers came up with two new ways to measure trust. First, robustness. Basically, can the AI ignore bad advice and stick to the facts? And second, faithfulness. Is the AI honest about what actually influenced its decision?
And the results here are just staggering. RadAgent wasn't just more accurate, it was fundamentally more trustworthy. It was over 40% better at ignoring bad advice. But even more amazing is that it scored 37% on faithfulness, a metric where the old model scored a flat 0 because you literally couldn't measure.
So what this all means is that this isn't just about one new AI model. This is pointing toward a completely new way of building and, more importantly, interacting with artificial intelligence.
The real big picture takeaway here is that RadAgent offers a blueprint for the future. By making the AI show its work, forcing it to justify its conclusions with a clear trail of evidence, we can move away from a relationship of just blind faith towards one of actual collaboration and verification.
This is what the future of AI in fields where the stakes are high could really look like. It's transparent, so experts can actually follow the logic. It's more reliable because its findings are anchored in evidence you can check. And maybe most importantly, it's collaborative. It creates a real partnership between human doctors and artificial intelligence.
So as we finish up, this whole thing leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. Once an AI can not only give us answers, but can also explain how it got them, what kind of new doors does that open? What new possibilities for collaboration and discovery are we about to unlock?